All right, I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the pledge of the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. Commissioner Van Reenen will not be with us tonight. He's had a work commitment that he had to attend to. Along with that, the minutes of July 8th. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second. And a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial report and payment of the bills.
So moved.
We got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the financial report? My comment, Steve, is are we into next year yet?
Not
Or this year, I mean?
Yeah, there's not, but we'll still be going back to last year for a while.
Okay, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Lou, anything on your report tonight?
No.
No, nothing on. Very good. All right, I got a couple of things. At the last meeting, we talked about the Historic District Commission reappointments. I'd like to recommend that we reappoint for 3-year terms Paula Newton and Brittany Schwartz on the Historic District Commission.
So moved.
We got a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion about those appointments? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
We are going to amend the dates of the next town meeting. Actually, the next town meeting is August 5th, which is as normally scheduled. But we're going to take the August 19th meeting and we're going to combine the workshop on that day. So we're not going to have a workshop on August the 12th, but we're going to have the workshop starting at 4 o'clock on the 19th, 4 to 6. Then we're going to all eat a sandwich, and then we're going to start conducting business for the regular town meeting at 7 till when it ends. Is everybody good with that?
Yes.
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 We polled the town board, and the whole board was good with that. Elkton's Night Out. On August the 4th, the event is going to be called Elkton's Night Out, Tuesday, August 4th, hours from 5 to 8 at Meadow Park. It's a free event for all ages. It's going to be a crime prevention information. We're going to do the child identification kits, the neighborhood watch information. We're going to have the interact with police and firefighters, K9 demonstrations. We're going to show inside a police car, inside a fire truck, which is kind of neat. There's also going to be free food. Duncan officer, Captain, are you going to be in the Duncan an officer booth?
I'll throw the ball. I won't be in the game.
All right, very good. But we're going to have potatoes and sack races, kickball, music, playgrounds, Nintendo. The event will be canceled if there is bad weather, but I think it's a nice event and it's going to be a go. With that, I have nothing new to report. Charlie?
I just want to thank Louis and the Department of Public Works for cutting the tree that was overhanging on Church Street. It was bad, couldn't even get through. And they took care of it, and in the community, my church adopted to go and clean the Girls and Boys Club on Saturday. They did a tremendous job there, and that's basically it. Tomorrow at Rise of the Sun, I'll be there much earlier than you. There's the MML at 6 o'clock normal time. 6 o'clock for social hour and 7 o'clock for the dinner and meeting.
Where's the meeting at?
The banquet hall on
Banquet hall. Very good.
300 Biggs Highway.
on Biggs Highway.
Got it. Thanks, Charlie. Earl?
I have nothing to report tonight.
Mary Jo?
I just wanted to thank AME Church for Rights for cleaning up what they've done over the weekend. It really does look great. And I do want to commend our police officers because this National Night Out is something that's done all around the country in conjunction with the Boys and Girls Club. And Elkton has been top-notch for years with this, and they do just a fantastic job. Bring out the families because it's a great event.
Thank you.
America, you better tell the public about the thing going down?
Yeah, actually, that's pretty good. July 20th, on July 20th, the George's Restaurant, what's left of the hotel, motel, is going down. So the demo work will be taking place on or before, I think is what it was, July 20th. So that's great news, that that building will be taken down, and we'll have a large vacant lot there, which is something that we've been pushed to get done. So very happy that Chip was able to follow through and get that done. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, this is the time of the evening that we open up the floor for the public to speak. Mr. Richard Lemon at 103 Walnut Lane, come on down. Mr. Lemon wants to talk about small business loans, costs down. Mr. Lemon, I wanted to let you know that on the August 19th workshop meeting, we're going to be discussing small business loans.
That was my first question. That's what
Yes.
I thought you were going to do. And what I'm suggesting, I got, at the last meeting, I got a copy of this, that you all got, this administrative guidelines for
Mhm.
Frederick County. And my first suggestion is that everybody read this. Every commissioner get a copy of this and read it. This is very good, and I think this could serve as a format for what you're trying to do. It's more restrictive, I think, than what you had in mind, but if you come up with something that's like this, I don't see where anybody would have any big problem with it. Now, as I read this, this is not necessarily intended to replace where a bank has rejected a loan or is not taking it, let's put it that way, is not accepting. This is purely to encourage small business, which I think is your objective to
That's
begin with.
correct.
And so it's not necessarily a latest referral type of thing. It's very good. I have some comments here of things that I think are important. And like I say again, I can't stress enough to read this. I learned a lot from this. I thought this was really well written, and whose ever idea was to get this, I like this. This is nice. So that's number one. Number two, they had listed there. No, number two is not this number. No, the other thing I wanted to mention came to my mind. I know somebody, I may have mentioned this before to him. I know somebody in Rising Sun that started a small business, and there's somebody in the county here that you can contact that will help you set up your small business. And I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is?
I can help them. I can help them.
No, this was some man that's very knowledgeable in everything that you need to know when you set up a small business. And I think that's very important to help, not only to help people that are planning on going into business, but people that are already in the business. And again, if you read this thing, Frederick County demands things of you that they want to know what your cash flow is and stuff like that, things that some small businesses may not know about. And I just think, again, getting help, thinking about getting professional help to small businesses to help them perform better is a good approach. That's not necessarily in this thing, but it's the next thing they came up was they set up $500,000, and they came up with $250,000 from the county, but they got a matching state grant. And I don't know if I've heard you mention that. Have you done that? Mention that?
We have, there's not going to be a per se matching state grant requirement with our program, but there will be the opportunity to work with the Neighborhood Business Works program with the state that would give up to 50% of the total project value at a fairly reasonable rate. And so that would be working hand in hand with our program.
But what they did here, they went to what's called the Maryland Economic Development Assistance Fund, MEDAF. And they got a matching grant to what they were going to put in the program, and that seemed to me like a reasonable thing to do. And so I want to mention that that's everything I'm saying is in this thing from Frederick County. So if you read this, then when you come to your meeting, I think you'll have a good,
Yes.
at least I've gotten a good mental framework on how this might work. Number 4 is they have what I had suggested before is a loan review committee in here. That I think they have 9 members. I think I suggested 3 members, but this again I think is an important thing that they have in here and should be looked at. I've already mentioned this, that you don't have to be rejected for bank funding to get this. This is not the idea with this. This is a more positive thing. The maximum loan under this was $50,000. And I heard Van Reeden say, well, what happens if Clorox or somebody comes in the county? But I think you address that if it happens. I don't think you need to worry about that in this program. I don't think that's your objective. Number 7 is, which I think is really critical, is equity participation. If you borrow money from somebody, you should have some skin in the game. And if you don't have money in there of your own money, then you shouldn't be getting a loan. Now, I feel pretty strongly about that, to be perfectly honest about it. In the Frederick program, the applicant will be expected to contribute at least 15% of the project financing. So I'm assuming, if you borrow $50,000, you'll put in $7,500 of your own money, wherever you get it from, whether you mortgage your house, whatever you do. That is really important, because this is not a, well, it shouldn't be a giveaway program. Some funds, will have borrowed, will have pledged collateral, whatever that is, house. And also, they talk about insuring all loans, which is something I haven't heard it talked about here, but it's something you might want to look into. And then the borrowers also need to have adequate insurance on their business. And that seems to me to make sense. So I wanted to mention that. Then I say this loan program is not easy. Not easier on the borrower. They monitor on a monthly basis the borrower's business, ascertain its ability to keep servicing its loan. If you're going to get money in the first place, they want to see your books and balance sheets, everything. And but it looks to me like in Frederick, their idea was to check you out every month as to how you're doing. Now, what they don't say here, but I think is important is, and it's important with all businesses here, is if you see a business is struggling or having a problem, is send somebody in there that can help them. Throw some ideas at them, tell them how they can handle their finances better, whatever it is. I think it's a two-sided type of thing, but I don't think you just lend somebody money based on what I see here and then walk away from it. I think what they do, they're very restrictive here. It's every month. They've got to know what's going on. Then the other thing, which you've already said is addressed and sent to Michelle, was there's some missing forms. And I heard you say, well, maybe you can't get them, but I would try to get them.
We try to get it, they're not gonna be gotten. I don't believe.
Because they should be.
That program was discontinued 6 years ago. The links associated with that website are no longer maintained. We may be able to get some associated documents from Frederick County to the extent that they may make sense for our program.
Well, if they have some loans that have been opened and closed, they may have these forms, they might be filled out, but maybe get that one, something like that. I just think that when you get all the way down to page 10 here, and they list forms that are not here for some reason, application, loan application checklist, which I would imagine is a pretty good thing, and the approval package checklist. Like I say, they've done a pretty good job on this thing.
The loan documents will come from the bank. We wouldn't provide them,
Okay,
because it's the bank, they're borrowing the money from the bank. We're not lending the money.
okay, then I didn't understand that. Okay. So anyway, that's my comments on that.
Thank you so much.
This is good.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your comments.
The other thing I wanted to mention, which is, this is a repeat. Got my other notes here. I talked earlier about cost reduction. You have a positive program for this year, a lot to do, but it's very important to continue to emphasize cost reduction. And based on my experience, every year, we were asked to come up with a cost reduction program, and you say, I thought of everything last year. And, and you really have to get back into it and talk to people and figure out ways to reduce costs. And there's a never-ending stream of new ideas. You just got to keep working on it. And last year, and I've said this before, but last year, the police department and Public Works came up with some significant good cost reduction ideas, and what and those two departments is where the money is to begin with. So my suggestion is that you work with all departments, but particularly those two departments, ask them to come forth with some plans as to how they can reduce costs, new ideas and all. And if they get people together and they talk about it and brainstorm and all, I think there would, and every idea won't come up in the first meeting necessarily, but if it's part of the thrust that you do running this the town, I think it will be important, and it will bring results. I know it brings results. I've been there. That's about it. I wanted to ask, do you have somebody working on the parking meters?
Captain, I'll look over at you, but I know that we are in this hiring process, and we just can't nail down a candidate. I know that's all I can tell you. We're so close.
We have
Close but no cigar.
We have someone in
We
the
are.
process now. I know they're doing their background on the individual. I'm not sure where that is at this time, but they're doing the background on him right now.
Well, it's a source of revenue, and if you're not collecting the money and enforcing the law, you're losing.
It is.
And that's no news to anybody. It's just the way it is.
Thank you.
Nice short meeting, even though I had something to say.
I don't know, you was killing me there for a little bit. We still got more residents
Oh,
though.
do you? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Lemon. Anyone else have anything to say this evening? I would like to mention that Councilman Alan McCarthy is in the back row tonight. Thank you, Alan, for coming.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation.
Very good. Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.